we all know that for human beings in living, our conduct depends upon our worldview and values. Our conduct is based on the kind of vision which we have for life, vision for our surroundings, vision about the whole nation, vision about the whole existence. And because of this perspective, our own perspective, how we see the words around us and how we see ourselves, we have our own values within ourselves. We decide that which thing is more valuable for us, which is not valuable for us. Depending upon these values, our conduct is expressed before us, our all behavior, our work, etc. Now, this is very particular about the human beings only. All other units in the nature, whether they are animals, plants, trees, soil, water, etc., their conduct is very definite. It is definite, it is predetermined naturally. But in case of human beings, we see that it is not that definite. When I say worldview, it means that it signifies our vision of the world. This may be based on direct realization of the existential reality or on our assumptions about it. Whatever we have learned from our education, because our worldview and our values and our conduct, it is all based upon our education and sanskar through our parenting or school education or higher education. And when we see about the fears in our life, you can see whether the fear of natural calamities is more predominant for you, the fear of wild animals, fear of inhuman conduct of human beings. Just there is a poll before you on the screen. Just see how it affects our life. There are 3 questions. Which fear is predominant for you? And is it increasing or decreasing? And then the third question is, what about our education? The literacy in last 15 years, is it increasing or decreasing? We'll see the poll result just on the screen. So when we see the current situation, okay, the result is here. 64% says that fear of inhuman conduct of human beings is predominant. Conduct and fear of natural calamities is from about 30%. And only 7% say that fear of wild animals is there, because now it is other way around. We have to start a project of save tigers because wild animals are afraid of human beings. And this predominant fear is increasing day by day. That means the fear of inhuman conduct of human beings is increasing day by day. And on other hand side, the 90% say that education is increasing, literacy is increasing. So that means the kind of education which is there in the present scenario, the inhuman conduct is increasing. And we all say that the purpose of education is that we should have the conduct, which is the conduct in human beings is based on our education and sanskar. So the main thing which is responsible for this human conduct is our education, whether it is in parents, in our families, in our schools, or in our colleges. Because of that education and sanskar, if we get the human education and sanskar, we have human worldview and human perspective, and which results into human values, and that results into human conduct. That means our behavior, our work, our participation in the whole system. And because of our participation, we get human society all around. But if our education is not human, if it is inhuman, everything results into inhuman conduct and inhuman society. So presently, when we see that there is a fear of inhuman conduct in human beings, it is mainly because of our education. The next, currently in our education, the main focus is on skills. The main focus is on our employability for our employment, for our livelihood. And because of these more focus on skills, We are unable to provide an adequate attention to the value aspect. And when we have wrong values, we misuse our skills. And we have right values within ourselves, we have right use of our skills. And with even more skills, because of education, when our skills are on the higher side, we see that we have more misuse of our skills. There is another poll before you. We are going fast because we have to cover so many things in this inaugural session. Today, the problems in our family, in our society, in nature, like divorce, poverty, or global warming, are these more because of lack of human values or lack of skills? So this question you have on your screen, just give your opinion. We'll see what is the result of this poll. The problems in family like divorce, in society like poverty, in nature like 93.5% are saying that today's problems in family, society, and nature are more due to lack of human values. Only 6.5% are saying that is more due to lack of skills. So as educators, as people who are responsible for higher education and technical education, we have to think about our education system. We have to take care of this missing link in our education, because if we just focus on skills, we don't get that kind of results. Next slide, please. In present education, when we talk about even value education, it is more on the doing part of it. Our behavior, our work, we talk about discipline, we talk about instructions, do's and don'ts. All these things are externally enforced, either through fear, the fear of punishment, or through some incentives. Or through some incentive, you will get this, you will get that reward, etc. But all this kind of activity where the focus is on doing, it doesn't result into the indefinite definite conduct, and we just see the indefinite conduct around. Then there is a next step where we talk about our thoughts, where we emphasize on our thinking. We talk about many ideals, we talk about morals, we talk about ideas there, which is called as moral education. That this effort, which has been initiated by AICT, it has little different, because this moral education is also not resulting into indefinite part. There we ask our students to believe on something, because this is written in this book, because this is written in this course, or it has been said by some big person, so you should believe on it. So this belief does not result into definite conduct. For definite conduct, we have to work on understanding part, whether you are understanding it or not, that this whatever is being discussed, it is definite in nature, it is universal in nature, it is applicable everywhere, and it is invariant with time. So this kind of understanding results into right worldview and perspective. So here in this course on universal human values, we are talking about the perspective which is definite in nature, which is universal, and which is invariant. And then this is put to the students as proposals. So here the content is also important, and the pedagogy is also important. We don't talk about you should do this, you should not do this, you should believe it, you should not believe it. We just propose it to the students when teacher discusses with the students, and then encourages the student to self-explore it. We emphasize on self-exploration. Just see within yourself whether it is there within you or not. Then the student, when goes for self-exploration, then he knows that this is part of me already. It is naturally acceptable to him or her. So because of this natural acceptance, instead of going for discipline, the result is for self-discipline. Now the discipline is not coming from outside, neither from some fear, nor from some incentive, nor from some beliefs, but it is because of his or her own understanding, own natural acceptance, and that results into definite conduct. And this definite conduct is desired in the society, to have human society where it depends on the human perspective, human worldview, human values, and human conduct in that self. And this, the both things, the first part, education for this is the main part of education, that is human worldview and human values, plus the value guided skills, the skills which are required for living with human conduct. The purpose of skills is to live with human conduct. Because of these two things, your right education and then right values, we are able to create human society or human order in this world. And this is the purpose of our national education policy also. The kind of vision in the draft NEP 2019, the draft National Education Policy 19, has been developed around this vision only. What are the two visions? One is full development of human personality, and the other is creation of just and equitable society. And when we just see what is full human personality, so this full human personality means having right human worldview, human values, and the value guided skills. These two things are come out as the full human society, full human personality. Here, when we talk about universal human values in this course, anything? Okay, when we talk about universal human values in this course, we talk about 4 guidelines about that. So these 4 guidelines are, one is that it must be universal in nature. We might have learned from anywhere. We might have learned from our forefathers. Our forefathers realized something, but then this whole idea of these values, the whole idea of this worldview or this perspective is applicable everywhere in the world. It is applicable in Australia, Asia, it is applicable in Africa, America, or Europe, everywhere. If it is not universal, that means it is not right worldview. It has to be universal for everybody. And second thing is that it has to be rational in nature. It must appeal to human reasoning. We should not say that because it is written in our book, because it has been said by some big person, some Mahapurush, we had to accept it. We have to believe it. No, we have to explore it within ourselves. And the third is, it must be verifiable. If I am not able to see it within myself today, I can question it. I can try to verify it with my doing, with my conduct. And if I get it right, then only I accept it. Otherwise, I can reject it also. And the fourth and the most important thing, that all these values must lead to harmony at all levels. Harmony within myself, the harmony among my thoughts, and actions, then harmony within my family. We should not have conflict because of these values within our family. Then harmony in the society, harmony in the nation, and harmony not only at the world level, but at the whole existence. For the whole universe itself, it should go for harmony. It should be a mutual happiness for everyone, the mutual prosperity for everyone. So this kind of universal human values are discussed in this course, discussed with students as proposals. And then when we have right worldview, right perspective, and right values within ourselves, then we can have skills for living with this human conduct, and which is value guided skill education. And both these things result into the full and fully developed personality, and which results into just and equitable society, that is human society with human order. AICT has taken an initial but significant step to fill this crucial missing link, this missing link of universal human values. So this is the initiative which has been taken by AICT, and it is not only for technical education, but it is for all the other higher education institutions also. What are these values? Human values, universal human values. One's value is one's participation in larger order. What is this value? That with this value, I participate in my family, I participate in my society. I participate in this whole larger order. This larger order means a system which is larger than myself, and it is a harmonious system. So this kind of harmony is desired at every part of it. So what is it that which helps me for participation in this larger order? For example, value of pen is that it helps to write. So this is the participation in education, the participation of pen in education. Similarly, value of water is that it quenches thirst. That means the participation in health. Similarly, your value or my value in the family is that my participation in harmony in the family. If I am not valuable, if I am not able to provide harmony in the society, I am not valuable for family, because the purpose of family is to have a harmonious unit. Similarly, my value in the institution is my participation in harmony in the institution. And so on, my value in the society and my value in nature. So everything, the thing which is valuable within me must lead to harmony in the larger order. So we need to understand the universal values of human being, that how human being is valuable for this whole universe. So these are the universal human values. So this is the thing which we try to study in this course. Our focus is on universal human values. Our focus is on the value component, which is a crucial missing link in present day mainstream education. If we are able to ensure it, the education on skills will be properly placed. We will be able to make right utilization of the skills, and two things will happen. One is the full development of human personality will begin to be realized. Number two, such people will have the mindset and skills. Both are required. Not only the skills, but mindset and skills both, to develop the foundations of a society which is just and equitable. And these aspirations have been articulated in this draft National Education Policy 2019, and it has to be fulfilled, and it has to be fulfilled by us who are considering ourselves as custodians of higher education, whether as teachers or as principal directors or as vice chancellors or as regulators or policy makers. So this is the focus of this universal human values, to fulfill this missing link in current education system. Now, effort for realization of truth, love and compassion. All great people of the world have tried to realize the truth. This is nothing new which AICT is doing, or which NCCIP is doing, or which as universities or higher education institutions we are doing. Throughout the history of mankind, all great people of the world have tried to realize this truth. Our forefathers in India, or many people outside India, have also tried to realize the truth and tried to live by it in terms of love and compassion. So these two values, these are universal values, the value of love and value of compassion. They have tried to understand themselves as human beings. And number two, understand the underlying harmony in nature, in existence. So they have tried to see the whole nature, the whole existence is working in harmony, it exists in harmony. They have tried to understand the role of the human being in nature, in existence, and to develop a just and equitable society. And this have been the effort by our forefathers in every part of the world, and they have tried to do that. And for all such great people, we have a deep feeling of gratitude. And with this feeling of gratitude, we try to share it with our students, share it with our next generation, that this is the thing which is there. One is truth, love and compassion. And truth is, we have to understand ourselves, we have to understand the harmony. This harmony itself is the truth. This harmony is to be understood, and then try to live in this harmony through love and compassion. This effort on universal human values is in continuation with that tradition of self-inquiry for the well-being of all. So this tradition goes from one generation to the next generation, is not from preaching. It is not from instructions, not from do this, do that, believe this, don't believe it. But it is through the tradition of self-inquiry. This is a proposal from the elder generation. The next generation has the responsibility to explore it within themselves. This pedagogy of self-inquiry has to be encouraged. And why we are exploring it within ourselves? This is the purpose is for the well-being of all. Because then only we can have harmony at all levels, harmony within ourselves, harmony at family, harmony at society, and harmony at nature level. Drawing upon this universal essence, it is put forth as proposals for self-exploration on one's own right. So you have to do it, you have to explore it on your own right, on your own responsibility. As a human being, it is my responsibility to do this kind of self-exploration so that I move to the process of self-evaluation. Next. In mainstream education, this need has been felt for a long time. So the need for reform in mainstream education, particularly inculcation of values, has been felt for quite a while. We are not saying that this is the current day need, but it has been felt throughout in the previous history also. The issue had been about how to go about it. The need was felt, but how to go about it with the students, how to go about it in a manner which is acceptable to every human being in all places at all times. It does not have any sectarian approach. Universal human values has been rigorously experimented in mainstream education over the last 15 years, starting from one college to over 4,000, with encouraging results. We feel that it is a workable proposal, but it is for you to explore the content, the process, and draw your own conclusions. So this is not that it has been just initiated by AICT, but for last 15 years, it was experimented in mainstream education. We started with one college. At present, it is being taught in about 4,000 colleges. So the only thing is, we are very sure about the content and the pedagogy, but we are sharing it with you as proposals. Now you have to inquire within yourself that how effective it is. In mainstream education, now where to start from it? The teachers or parents or policy makers? So there was the only, this is a regular question. Generally people say that in education, where to start from it? Next. Okay, yes. And within education, whether it should start from primary education or secondary or higher education, many of you will say that it starts from primary education itself. These are some of the common issues discussed. It's always better to start value education from the very beginning. Just let me finish. Okay, what do you think? Is it okay to start? Okay, let's have the poll. Let's have the poll. Let's see what is the current idea about it. What do you think? Is it okay to start value education from higher education? Yes, no, cannot say. We are doing it at the level of higher education. What are your views about it? I think everybody has participated in this poll. Okay, we have 55% says that yes, it should be start from, it is okay to start from higher education. 43.5% say that no, and 2% say that can't say. Let me share with you our idea about it. It is always better to start value education right from elementary stage. When I say that elementary stage, I mean that even it should start from the homes itself. In fact, the children start learning values right from childhood in their homes. So it's better to start from their parents. But when you go to educate the parents, ultimately you have to work with grown-ups, because we have to, it must start at within the homes itself. But when we are to teach the parents, we can do it through higher education itself. So why not start with higher education? Through higher education, we are directly able to address the future teachers, parents, and policymakers. So these students who are studying in our colleges, in next 5 or 6 years, they are going to start their families, they are going to become parents. So that's the reason that this is also the right stage. And because we are in higher education, so we are able to contribute it to the society, that it can start at the elementary stage itself. So this is the reason that we are active in higher education itself for this value education part. Next. Because many times there is, teachers say that it should come from the schools itself, it should come from the parents, and people say that it cannot be taught, it is caught. Next slide, please. Teaching human values. One of the misconceptions has been that values cannot be taught, they are caught. From the experiments in the last 15 years in mainstream education, it is clear that human values can be taught. And because of these experiments, because of these results in these experiments of last 15 years, we found that students find it interesting when it is shared as proposals for self-exploration, rather than a set of instructions or do's and don'ts. When we share all these values as proposals and ask them, encourage them for self-exploration, they find it interesting. Youth, regardless of their background, whether they are coming from rural background or urban background, whether they are in technical education or the other education degrees, they can explore it, they discover the humanness in them and develop it. When they explore within themselves, they find these human values within themselves, and when they just see these values within themselves, they try to develop them. This self-exploration is an effective means of self-evolution. There is significant perceptual transformation in those exploring it seriously. When they start doing it seriously, they find right kind of evolution within themselves. Of course, values are inspired and reinforced in institutions by people who are living models of human values. Yes, the role of person who is sharing these values with the students is very important, that how he or she is, how the teachers are living by these values, that has an effect on students. This is no doubt that it is there, but it doesn't mean that we cannot start sharing it with our students. And this whole process of sharing of values, it has impact on students as well as the teachers who are teaching these courses also. So this is what we could see in last 15 years continuous. So I would like to have your views on it, and I have also already shared my view on it. You may see within yourself whether values cannot be taught. Values cannot be taught, they are caught. You see it as true or as false. The statement is values cannot be taught, they are caught. What about your views about this statement? Please check the statement carefully. It is about that it cannot be. So it is 50-50 kind of thing. 49% say that it is true. 46.9% say that it is false. 4 points say that not sure about it. Yes, I have already shared with you that we have found that values can be taught when these are shared as proposals. When I was at Punjab Technical University as Vice Chancellor in 2010, we started International Resource Center for Universal Human Values. where we had of course, we introduced foundation course on universal human values in first and second semester for all students of Punjab Technical University. But we also started postgraduate diploma in universal human values, and we started MTech program in holistic development systems and technologies. At that time, it was at the initiative of university itself, and now we are discussing at AICT also to take this nomenclature in AICT approved things, but universities can take initiative on their own also. I am very happy to share with you that all the batches which have undergone through this PG diploma and MPhil program, the placement was 100%. When I say that placement was 100%, that doesn't mean that campus recruitment, but it means that all had developed the self-confidence to have independently find meaningful ways to live their life. So this is the main thing which we would like to have in our students, the kind of self-confidence, and to have they can find within themselves and independently meaningful ways to live their happy and prosperous life. So that is how we feel that we had 100% placements, and we are very much in touch with all those students also. The efforts in this Universal Human Values Foundation course, I'm fortunate that I came in contact with Professor R.R. God and Professor P.L. Dhar, those who started in early 1980s. It was 1982 itself. The course on science and humanism was started at IIT Delhi, and 2001, Ministry of Human Resource Development, at that time it was Education Ministry, they established National Resource Centers in Value Education at IIT Delhi, NCRT, and IIM Lucknow. In 2005, Triple IT Hyderabad, under the leadership of Professor Rajiv Sangalji, he was director at that time, they started an experiment with mandatory 2-semester course on universal human values. In first semester, they used to have the theoretical part of it, and in second semester, the practice sessions on it. The experiment was quite useful and quite successful. In 2009, UP Technical University, which is now called as APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, they scaled it up to 550 colleges, to all their affiliated colleges. And 2011, in Punjab Technical University, we rapidly scaled up to all the affiliated colleges in Punjab, affiliated to Punjab Technical University. In 2012, Bhutan has implemented it in all their higher education and even school education programs. They found it deeply resonating with their national program of GNH, that is Gross National Happiness. As we know that instead of GDP, they measure gross national happiness at their national level. In 2012 itself, Himachal Pradesh Technical University took it up from Punjab Technical University and implemented in their university. In 2018, now Bikaner Technical University is implementing it very rapidly. Within a year, they have taken it to all these colleges and they have trained the teachers very well. Professor Vice Chancellor Bikaner Technical University, Professor Charan, is with us. He will share with you his experiment and his experience in last 2 years. By 2019, more than 40 universities in 10 states of India have the Universal Human Values Foundation course as a core part of their academic curriculum. And this induction program, which has been started by AICT, it was actually started in 2011 by IIT Gandhinagar. They started 5-week induction program for creating well-rounded personality. In 2013, NIT Trichy followed IIT Gandhinagar model with 3-week induction program. In 2016, in the meeting of IIT directors, they endorsed IIT Gandhinagar's initiatives. They recommended 5-week human values based orientation program for new UG students in the IIT system. In 2016, 3 IITs, IIT BHU, IIT Mandi, and IIT Patna started 3-week induction program with universal human values as main component in it. From all these experiments, it is clear that human values can be taught. Problems are an indication of the lack of clarity about values and our effort for value-based living. So all the problems which we earlier discussed in one of the polls also, the problems are due to lack of clarity about the human values. The problems are largely as a result of lack of human values and not as a lack of skills. So these universal human values can be used as starting point for further developing a universal framework for incorporating values in mainstream education. So this UHV is a starting point, and very tangible efforts have been taken by AICT. They adopted, AICT adopted UHV approach for value education in 2017, while when they decided to update model curriculum from 2018-19 academic year. So they introduced universal human values as a core part of mandatory student induction program, and it was known as UHV1. And UHV is to be offered as an essential 3-credit course, which is known as UHV2 or H102 as course code in 3rd and 4th semester or earlier. Today, more than 10,000 colleges under AICT umbrella are preparing their teachers for this huge task of national importance. So now it is up to the universities to take it up in their academic curriculum. The tangible efforts which have started by AICT in human values is not only this UHV1 and UHV2 in model curriculum, but they have set up induction program cell at AICT headquarters. And today, now it is being headed by Dr. Neetu Bhagat. She interacted with us initially in this session. And from this 2020 to 21 session, they have taken it in the approval process handbook also. Now they are asking from colleges, those who are applying for extension of approval, that whether what have you done at your college level about universal human values courses. And to have this successful implementation of this UHV courses, they have enabled 3-day faculty development programs throughout the year for orientation of the teachers, and 8-day faculty development programs during summer and winter break for the purpose of they enable them to make them trained for teaching these courses. This is not only for orientation, but it is mandatory for teaching these courses. They are certified after successful their participation. So such faculty members can only teach UHV1 and UHV2 in their colleges. And AICT takes care of all the cost of boarding and lodging of these participants. They recognize the efforts of universities, colleges, and individual faculty members. Now here I am really happy to mention that all those who are involved as resource persons or any activities regarding organization of these faculty development programs, whether it is 3-day program or 8-day program, or even this online program, whether they are working on front end, taking classes, taking sessions, or working on back end for preparing slides for all the technical support, they are not charging any honorarium, any fee from AICT. They are doing it 100% at voluntary level, and they take it as a gift to the society from their side. They take it as value within themselves. They find it useful for themselves. They find it valuable for themselves. That's how this whole work of universal human values is spreading. And those who are involved in these faculty development programs, they are not charging any fee, any kind of honorarium for that. This is an initial but significant step in value-based education for value-based living, which includes sustainable technology, that means planet-friendly technologies. So this is just a starting point. The aim is that we have to make efforts towards that our engineers, our technologists should be able to move for developing sustainable technologies, and our managers, our management students, management teachers should be able to have humane management practices. That means people-friendly management practices. So this whole effort are the steps for preparing faculty for these programs, and it will be outlined on last day that how we do it step by step. We may be starting it just with a workshop or with a just one course, and how step by step we are heading towards our goal of human society as such. As far as our induction program of AICT, which is 3-week program, is concerned, the objectives are very clear, that new entrants go through years of strenuous preparation and get accustomed to it. All this coaching activity in Kota and in our coaching centers in urban areas. So the students are really highly pressurized before joining these higher education or technical education colleges. Often they lose the connection from social life and recreational activities. On the other hand, engineering demands personality in all dimensions. When we talk to our employers, they say that we need people, those who are really having all-round personality. We don't looking for just bookworms or just technical skilled people. We need people with the all-round personality. So that kind of smooth transition from school to college is the objective of this induction program. From the preparation stage, the preparation environment, they come to engineering curriculum. So this education fills up that gap. It works as a bridge in the initial 21 days. And then we have student activity cells for remaining 4 years. So they are continuously taking care of their all-round development. So this is the purpose of this objective of induction program. And all the activities in student induction program are based on generic and universal principles. So this is a universal approach in it. The local, regional, national, and international examples are taken so that students can realize them, relate them with their day-to-day life. But the principles behind it are universal. For example, we want to live with fulfillment as a society. This part is common and this part is universal. That wherever we live, whether we are in an educational institution or we are working in a multinational company or we are living in family or society, we are living with fulfillment as a society. We are living in harmony at all levels. So this is common everywhere. This is common in America, Africa, Australia, Asia, Europe, and it is universal. To exemplify this, we may expose students to traditional Indian cultural and philosophy as well as contemporary Western culture and thought. So we can have examples from any place, but the purpose is to live happily, mutual prosperity for mutual happiness. So this is the thing which is made clear to the students that what is the difference between universal approach and local regional examples. Next slide. In this way, it helps in connecting the basic principles through specific examples. It helps the student to see and appreciate various cultures, to see the commonality amongst them in the light of clarity about human culture and civilization. The human culture and civilization is about harmony at all levels. It will help to evaluate any specific example, system or culture with a view to fill the gaps. Maybe we can have any example that this is not happening there, that is not happening there. Then what is our role in that? Our role is to fill the gap. Wherever we find gap in it, it is not just to criticize that gap, but to have the inclination of filling that gap. That is the view, rather than to just criticize or reject it. Further, we can also be mutually enriching for other cultures also. For within our culture, whatever gaps we find, we try to fill it up, and instead of just rejecting it or instead of just criticizing it, and in the same way, when to talk about other cultures also, we have the approach of mutually enriching for other cultures also. Wherever we are lacking, we can take the examples from other side, and wherever they are lacking, we can make efforts to fulfill those gaps also. So this is the kind of approach which is considered in the UHV 1, which is shared with the students. And in UHV 2 course, it is a 3-credit mandatory course which has been recommended in model curriculum by AICT. There are 4 objectives. One is development of a holistic perspective based on self-exploration. The holistic perspective is to be based on self-exploration about themselves, family, society, and nature existence. Number 2 is understanding That means developing clarity of the harmony in the human being, family, society, and nature existing. It is understanding of harmony means to develop clarity within themselves, that it is harmony which is there in the whole existence, and strengthening of self-reflection. Whatever we are seeing within ourselves, whatever is naturally acceptable to us, we try to strengthen our own natural acceptance, and then development of commitment and courage to act as per our natural acceptance. When we find that it is naturally acceptable to us, we try to commit ourselves for this. And in last 15 years, this whole team has been able to have a very systematic step-by-step syllabus. We have developed a teacher's manual also for it, which has a lecture plan for 28 lectures and 14 practice sessions. There is a textbook. Now this second edition is also available. And you will see during this 5 days program that various PPTs, including practice sessions, tutorials, and videos are also available, which we will try to share with you. All these videos of workshop lectures. And then we also try to have weekly meetings in the colleges through student activity cells. And all these materials are available on the website of APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University website. We'll make it available on AICT website also. And then there is a full-fledged program of 8-day faculty development program, how to share values, teachers are taught, and how to have examinations and evaluation for this kind of course. And as a follow-up to that, how to have social projects and social internships. And the whole process of implementation is discussed during these 8-day workshops. Next. Universal Human Values is a course which is the foundation course. Its content and process of value education follows the basic guidelines I have already shared with you. The content must be universal, rational, verifiable, and leading to harmony. And the process must be through self-exploration only, not through instructions, not through preaching, not through just do's and don'ts. This will be sufficiently exemplified in the presentations in this workshop. In the next sessions, we will have 3 sessions every day, 2 in the forenoon and 1 in the afternoon in smaller groups we will have. And you will see that we can really do this in the both in content as well as in the pedagogy. Now it is our responsibility that let us explore it together and materialize this possibility of teaching human values, sharing human values with our students. And as the custodians of future technical and higher education in the nation, it is our responsibility. And with that responsibility, we are starting today's workshop. And I'm sure that all of you will enjoy it, and all of you will participate it in fully in all the sessions. Thank you. Thank you very much.